After a quick visit to the Central Deborah Historic Gold Mine, we spent the day catching up with the family behind Heathcote's Sanguine estate. Tonight, I feel like a spot of gin, so I'll be visiting local legend Clare Voitin, who founded the highly regarded Heathcote Gin, and we'll be rounding things out with a beer and some food at Palling Bros Brewery. We're loving our time in Heathcote, so go on, stick around. Heathcote is quickly becoming one of Victoria's must-visit locations for lovers of good food and even better booze. Speaking of, my destination for today is Heathcote Gin. Founded in 2018, this boutique gin distillery has experienced a whirlwind of success. I thought I'd sit down with the woman behind it all. Hello, Claire.
Hello, Georgia. How are you?
I'm great. I'm very excited to be here in your, I suppose it's a cellar door for your gin.
Absolutely it is,
It's not just a cellar door though,
It's everything you want it to be.
Yeah,
so,
it's incredible.
So we're in the main street of Heathcote, 98 High Street, and it's really been absolutely fantastic. And the locals have really embraced it, which is great, and so have people from far and wide. I'm quite astonished as to how wide the reach is when you have gin.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I feel like your gin has helped a lot with spreading the word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk us through the beginnings of your...
Heathcote Gin started over a long lunch in December 2018.
Which is not that long ago.
I know. It's been one of these steep climbs, which has been really exciting, actually. So it was actually over a Heathcote Shiraz, turned into a real idea early 2019 that became a product with some botanicals that I really was fascinated in exploring and using into a gin. That it was accepted by one of the biggest liquor retailers in Australia, and that was all before it even launched officially, which we did in July 2019.
How did that change the trajectory of the business as you saw it prior to
It was kind of like, here's a business plan, and we threw that in the bin, and then when 2020 came, we threw that business plan in the bin as well. But it really, what it did is I guess it taught me to identify that the plan is never going to go to plan. And it really just allowed us to, or enabled me or forced me, I suppose, to actually deal with the really accelerated growth of Heathcote Gin. So the plan was really just to be a small boutique distillery, but it's sort of gone from little to big very quickly, of which I'm eternally grateful for. So
yeah. But I suppose it does require a bit of pivoting.
Pivoting is something that I've done and learnt to do very well for the last 18 months. Okay, so Georgia, we have here, there's actually 9 gins in the range. We're about to release our fusion gin in the next couple of weeks, which is an Asian style influence, beautiful gin, which has lemongrass and galangal and kaffir lime and grapefruit and things in it. So that's beautiful. That's not here today. So we have here at the moment 5 gins. We've decided are the ones we want to try today. So we have Finn's Navy Strength, have a chameleon gin, which is a colour-changing gin.
Oh, it changes colour?
Yes, it does.
It is an amazing colour.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Heathcote Shiraz gin, because I couldn't be a Heathcote gin and not have a Shiraz gin. It is unbelievable. Chocolate gin, which also has an interesting story that relates to my children. And a smoked chili gin, which you insisted we put on the board. Cool. Yeah, no, so Harry Finlayson was a local in Heathcote many years ago, who was actually on a boat that actually went out to fight a war that allows us to be here doing what we do today. And the ship sunk in a battle, and everyone perished on the boat. But they only found the shipwreck about only a few years ago. The story's incredible, and I will make sure I get that story to you properly.
So this is a tribute.
So this is a tribute to Harry Finlayson. So now this is our Navy Strength gin, and there's a few different sort of slight variations on the story, but gin was used as a form of currency. So in order to measure whether they were getting the right alcohol content, which was at 57%, that was considered to have a higher value than something of lesser alcohol volume. You can light it at 57% with gunpowder. And the whole thing behind gin and quinine, because quinine is a safeguard for malaria, which is why we drink gin and tonics all through summer, so you don't get bitten by the mozzies, or that's what the story we use. And so that's how 57% became a Navy strength measure.
Because if it spills on the gunpowder, you can still light it.
Correct. So they would every so often check it. If it wouldn't light, then they were getting ripped off. So it's a bit of a version of being underpaid, under award wage.
Well,
so there you go.
Let's get a pay rise.
Yeah, there you go. So this has lemon myrtle, sweet orange in there. Obviously it's got the juniper, got coriander, angelica, orris and cassia bark. This is actually Angelica it's a very earthy, bit of a spicy, earthy kind of botanical. Angelica and orris are commonly found in gins. They really bring and hold and bind all the botanicals together. So they're very commonly used, as is coriander as well. So it's a very simple gin, but it really does seem to just work. So
it smells quite complex, like it's that citrus.
Absolutely.
Kind of.
But and this is really easy to drink on its own, believe it or not. Frail little thing like me can drink it on neat, so I'm sure you can too. It's kind of all right, isn't it? So if it doesn't make you go like that, that's a good outcome. So of course, people are intimidated by the higher alcohol content. I think you've got to embrace it. For me, and at the Cellar Door, this is what we use for our gin and tonics. It's a really, really lovely gin.
It's delicious. Stick around for more chats and more gins after the break.
Whilst filming the Cellar Door in Bendigo, our crew chose to stay at Byron's Vale Vineyard and Accommodation Bendigo. The heritage two-storey stone stables at Byron's Vale offer 3 superbly restored and renovated self-contained apartments designed to provide all the comforts expected in fine accommodation. The stables are surrounded by picturesque farmland overlooking Bendigo's oldest Shiraz and Cabernet Sauvignon vines. For inquiries to purchase wine or to book your stay at Byron's Vale, head to byronsvale.com.au.
I'm in the heart of Heathcote and I've settled in for a chat with local gin icon Clare Voitin. Was gin something that had been sort of on your radar for a long time? Or?
No, it really wasn't. I mean, I've always been the G&T girl, hold the gin, because gin, we were so limited with our choices. We really didn't have an Australian gin to sort of lean towards. But in the last, say, 3 or 4 years, and 4 Pillars have really pioneered that for Australian producers. It's been something that I've been a lot more fascinated with, pretty much because of the botanicals and what can go into the bottle. So I usually describe gin as having its own DNA, and that's kind of where I really lights me up and animates me and allows my creative juices to flow a little.
And you're also quite passionate about the connection between where something comes from
Absolutely,
in terms of what you're consuming.
Yeah.
You were mentioning something about the botanicals being predominantly local.
Yeah, so everything in Heathcote gin, in a Heathcote gin bottle, is either sourced or reflects the region. So there's a few botanicals we don't grow here at the moment. Some we do source and grow, but the longer term plan is that we will have everything growing in and around Heathcote on our own place actually. So that's sort of the longer term plan that I hope I can get across the line sooner than later. But again,
another business
2020
plan.
did that. It's another business plan. And really what I want to do is to be able to have people come to a place on acreage where they can actually experience and understand what goes behind a bottle of gin. So, talking about the juniper and showing them the lemon myrtle and, what's the difference between orange and sweet orange and dried orange and how that can impact on the flavour of a gin, and coriander. I mean, people look at coriander and they stick it in their food, but it's one of the core botanicals in so many gins that we drink now. Mm-hmm. So, and the dynamics of those botanicals and how they behave with each other really change the impact of a gin as well.
Talk me through your process of deciding what infusions to put in your gins, because you've got quite an interesting mix of flavours of gin.
I describe the making of, or coming up with an idea of gin or making gin like making a chocolate cake. So you can have 20,000 different chocolate cake recipes and they all essentially make chocolate cake, but there's something ever so slightly different about each recipe that you'll have. And the same can be said for gin. So it might be that the amount of juniper that you put in this one gin, you don't need as much in another one. So that the whole, it's really, I feel like I've fluked it a little bit. So I wanted chocolate gin, for example, and it was like, well, how do we get that? How do we make that happen? Because I figured that chocolate gin would be a really, really good idea, and it was.
Yeah,
so,
did you nail it?
Absolutely, we
Great.
nailed it, of course, and you will find that out very soon.
Yeah, I'm quite excited about that.
I guess the botanicals, there are certain botanicals that really should be in a gin. Some of the botanicals give you the earthy flavours that are very typical of a gin. Obviously, you've got to have juniper. If you don't have juniper, you can't call it gin. But then it's the mix of how they behave with other things. So I've got a raspberry gin. Well, we've used our base Founders gin and added a few other botanicals and local Victorian raspberries to actually create this incredible gin. It just kind of worked. So I may not be the ideal case study for how you spend 3 or 4 years in producing the perfect concoction, because we kind of nailed it very quickly.
Well, you don't need to convince me. Another gin, please.
So basically I'm a chocoholic, and I would hide my chocolate in every corner and crevice in the house.
You have 3
Because I have
sons.
3 children, 3 sons. And so they kept finding it. So I thought, bugger you locks, they're all underage. I'm going to stick my chocolate in my gin and they can't touch it. And that is the true story. But I always thought, what could it even be done? And what would be the outcome? And it is really chocolate in a bottle. So it's so good. So it is a sweeter gin. I love this over ice cream.
Oh, yum.
Yep, so it's like a bit like a frangelico affogato kind of thing. I just drink it neat on its own. I don't even put ice in it, but when you do put ice in it, it creates a completely different experience again. And also as a gin and tonic, it's delicious. Blood orange, it's beautiful.
The chocolate orange.
Absolutely.
And the citrus in the gin.
And the citrus in the gin, so it's really good. So there's hazelnut, you'll get the nutty tones of hazelnut and almond in there.
So you...
hazelnut and an almond. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you get that hazelnut straight away. An almond. Almost like a marzipan.
Yes. And it kind of does this thing on the palate. It does things. And changes. Yeah.
That's delicious.
It's all right, hey?
Yeah. That's almost got a smoky, what is that?
There's actually a little bit of chilli in there as well.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so it gives the warmth. We were tossing up to whether to make it a chopped chili gin, but I thought, no, let's just do chocolate. People aren't sure what to do with this, and it's like, just try
drink it, guys.
Just drink it. Don't sweat on it too much. Don't overthink it. Just enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Speaking of very local produce,
yes,
the Heathcote Shiraz gin.
This is amazing. So we actually use this started up in a conversation in a pub on the outskirts of Heathcote with another woman who's a wine producer by the name of Jess Dwyer, who owns her own brand called Farmer and the Scientist. I tasted her Shiraz wine and it was mind-blowing. And I dared to ask her, I said, what would you think if we tried your Shiraz with my gin? And we did it, and it was like, wow. And I was pretty guarded about it because asking a wine producer to do that is a big deal in the first place. But she actually loved it, and I was so pleased. And we nailed it first time. So where it's different to other Shiraz gins is we're actually using the Shiraz wine rather than just the grape or the juice.
So you don't use the grapes. So she will make the Shiraz.
She produces the Shiraz. So we were going to run with her 2016 Shiraz vintage, and just before we went to go into production, she said, "Don't. You need to try my 2018. It's even better." Mm-hmm. So we actually have used her 2018 Shiraz. It's beautiful, and it's delicious. So hopefully you like it.
I'm sure I will.
I always, with the Shiraz gin, I always say to people, open it, let it breathe for a little bit. So I think gin actually gets better once it's opened, but not dissimilar to a, shall I give you this one? Not dissimilar to a Shiraz wine or any wine. Just let it breathe for a moment. But this is really spectacular. I just don't do anything other than just drink it neat.
Oh, wow.
It's really lovely. So you'll have those citrus botanicals, the lemon myrtle will shine through, but the Shiraz...
depth of Shiraz
absolutely.
Fruit. Oh my God, that smells amazing. How long do I have to let it breathe?
You're done. You're ready to go.
Oh my God, that's delicious.
It's not bad, is it?
It's really good.
Yeah. And the beauty of that is that every year it will change. Yeah.
It's almost got a sweet kind of...
Yeah, there's a little sweet, absolutely. I don't know how that happened, but it kind of worked. So, it's great.
Oh my God, that's so good.
And try it, and it's also great as a G&T.
Should we? Okay.
I think you should. Yeah. Again, not too much, just a little bit, just to let the botanicals open up. You'd kill that if you put too much tonic in there.
Yeah. That's great. The sort of tart quinine balances out that sweetness. Oh my God, that is delicious.
It's good, isn't it?
As with every episode of The Cellar Door, it's about now the countdown to a post-tasting nap begins. Back at Heathcote Gin, and I'm chatting to Clare Voitin, who is not only a very busy entrepreneur, she's also a published author with a growing list of titles under her belt.
So I wrote a book a few years ago called, which was about paddock to plate. So it was about the farm and the food and the connection between the two. And that was an incredible experience. It was a really cathartic one because I absolutely love writing. And so I love telling a story through whatever it is that I do. So I've got another book coming out which is about gin. Absolutely. So really what I see as my mission is to get people to look beyond the bottle of gin and think about what's in it and how it came to be. And when you think about all the distillers in the world, and as we know, gin's the fastest growing spirit in the world, and there are gins popping up every single week, but they are all so different and so unique. So they've all got their own DNA, their identity, they've got a beautiful story behind how they came to be. And it's always an incredible thing to hear people who have made their gin tell that story as to how it came to life. And some gins you won't like. A lot of them you'll love. If you're a gin lover, you'll love a lot of gins, but there are some that just won't suit you, but then that gin suits somebody else. So I think it's pretty incredible to be able to show that in a book. And it's really about entertaining but educating people on gin.
You can find Clare's books through her online store. Thank you so much for sharing these with me.
It's my absolute pleasure. It was awesome to have you here, and I'm glad you've tried a few of the gins. Did you have a favourite?
Do you know what? I think like you, the Shiraz and the chocolate, both complimentary and delicious.
Yep.
But I mean, God, they were all amazing.
They all have a different role to play. And that's the thing, there's no sort of one gin that just fits one's occasion perfectly. And again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder or the bedrinker.
Oh, I think all of your brides are gorgeous.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Claire. Next time you're in this neck of the woods, do yourself a favour and pop into Heathcote Gin. I know I will be. Well, I've already had another fantastic day here in Heathcote, but there's still time for one last adventure, so I thought I'd pack up our crew and head to Palling Bros Brewery just down the road for a cold bevy and a bite to eat. Hello, Peter.
George, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Palling Bros Brewery.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Come on down.
Great. Palling Brothers is an independent craft beer brewery that doubles as a function venue, and it's a pretty top place to spend the golden hours of a lazy afternoon. Heat's about to give me the run of the place. I can feel it. Their core range includes your regular hoppy heroes, everything from your pale ale, IPA, traditional lager, and there are always a few seasonal specials on the go. Don't mind if I do, Peter. Looking for some food? You've come to the right place. Although I'm a little worried I may be about to disappoint Peter.
I don't know. Have you ever had goat before?
I have, but I have a devastating admission.
Tell me.
I'm a vegetarian.
You've got no idea.
So sorry.
No, that's
but
funny.
It smells
it's
amazing.
Funny you say that
it
because
does actually.
I didn't make enough for you. I've just made it for these guys.
Yeah, you knew.
Success.
At least he's a good sport, and my crew are very happy. Well, that's it for another episode of the Cellar Door Australia. Remember to catch up on old episodes online, and we'll see you next time.